Hello, everybody. It's Gary Schaefer. It's been a while since I've loaded any videos onto my YouTube channel, but I had the chance to discuss Anthony's journey of substance use and recovery. He is the son of Lisa, and if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see a video with his mom, Lisa, who also discusses from her side. So I think it's a good perspective from a parent-child of what both of their journeys are. Anthony's been in recovery for over 9 years. He's married with a child, but he discusses how important faith was at the point in time when he decided he needed help. I think it's also important that although he discusses his faith, we all have to find a higher power, whatever your faith may be, to help us through this journey. And for more information on substance use disorder, you can go to my website, www.ericstory.com. Talks about my book, our journey. There's videos, articles, and all type of stuff to help you understand what this disease is. Thank you, and give a listen. I'm Gary Schaefer. If you've been on my website or my YouTube channel, you've seen the various videos that I've did. Today we have Anthony, and he's going to share his story. If you've watched some of my other videos, we had his mom on, Lisa. So we're going to hear from the other side. Anthony, thanks so much for joining me. And could you give me a little bit of your background of where you're at now and maybe a little bit of your past, and we'll dive into your past later on.
Okay, yeah. Well, where I'm at now is I'm currently in Florida with my family. I have a wife and a daughter right at the moment now. Steady working a job, driving a truck. Been doing that for the past 8 years. I've been clean for going on 9.5 from heroin.
Excellent.
Um, but I mean, yeah, life is completely uh day and night difference. I'll tell you that. It's a job, but it's definitely worth it for sure. I'll tell you that. So I mean, it's not easy, but it's definitely better than it was before. So,
Right. To give some people a little bit of background, our son Eric died from a fentanyl heroin overdose in 2015, and he shared a lot with us after he was clean and sober. But I might even ask you some questions to help maybe
okay.
understand kind of what
Okay, yeah.
you guys go through. So
Okay.
anyway, let's get back to the start of your journey with the of substance use. About what age were you, and like kind of how did it start? What did you use first, and how did it progress from there?
Well, really, the first time I did anything with is the usual is marijuana. I started smoking weed and I'm what 14, 15.
And
About
it
this,
was
so that's
mainly
what.
for pleasure, right?
Yeah, it was just because we moved around a lot as a kid. So we went from different schools and here and there. So I was always trying to find a spot and fit in. So I was kind of wanted to be with the cool kids. So they were the ones that were smoking weed, and I was like, hey, I'd try it, whatever. And so it started from being, a casual, just hanging out thing, and then it serious got into the more serious drugs like the Vicodins and Xanax, and so it was pretty much a progressive downhill after that. So
Did you drink at all? Alcohol, or
yeah,
was it really pot?
yeah, that was mostly like a weekends party thing, but it really wasn't like an everyday thing like the weed and the pills were. So
Right. See, now, Eric, he started off drinking, and we used to
okay,
put liquor bottles in the closet and that type of deal.
okay,
He did share a bit, beer, I guess I want to say, but the alcohol hard stuff was surprising. He started in late 10th, 11th grade, and that kind of sounds like
okay.
about the same time you did, around in that time frame, 10th.
To get into the really like harder stuff, yeah. But I mean, I was like the summer going into ninth grade is when I first started getting introduced to the different stuff. So it was a little bit earlier for me. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah.
I've worked with therapists who have worked with people who are dealing with
Okay.
this. And it's like they start, it can be for pain, it can be for pleasure,
Uh-huh.
it can be for sexual abuse or physical abuse
Yeah.
that they're going
Yeah.
through, just hanging with the peers. And that's kind of, it sounds a little bit like what you were doing just to kind of get in with the crowd, right?
Yeah, because I really put a lot of emphasis on my friends because my home life wasn't the greatest. So the more I could get out of my house, the better. I mean, that's a whole other thing, with the stepdad. He was being, a recovering alcoholic, but he really wasn't working a program, so he was just mean.
Okay.
And he had his own kids with my mom that were his, and it was like a thing where he really looked at me as not really his kid, so it was kind of not really paying so much attention to me. So I wanted to seek, the validation in somewhere else, so it would be my friends. So if they thought I was cool, I would do whatever I had to do to make them think that I was cool, kind of thing. I was just constantly looking for a validation from a higher peer, so to say, because I
Right.
wasn't getting it at home.
I've done some studying on my own, and one of the
Okay.
calls talks about parents, either their lack of knowledge of the
Uh-huh.
disease, thinking it's a phase. And that's what I went through because I did my share of
Okay.
drinking. Um,
Uh-huh.
and um, I just thought it was a phase, something they would work themselves out of.
Yeah.
Another cause is the parents' view of alcohol or drugs or the use of alcohol or drugs. And
Okay.
that's kind of what you had with your stepdad then,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a way. So that might validate maybe the use or whatever of it. But
Uh-huh.
um, the when you started to progress, did you? I've learned that there's an invisible line that once you cross this line, it's no longer a choice you have to use
No, yeah. No, yeah. It
just to
doesn't
get
it's yeah.
functional.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Once you get to that point, it's no longer enjoyable. It has to become your main lifestyle choice because you can't function without it.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I am. I was not aware of that. I just thought that you just gotta get tough and not use anymore. Come on, you can
yeah.
stop this. But then, right, and then I
Yeah,
learned
yeah.
your brain needs it, right? I mean,
Oh,
because
no, 100%. Yeah.
Eric went through the same phases you're talking about. He went drinking, smoking
Yeah.
pot, the
Yeah.
pills, and then heroin,
Yeah.
and other things like that. And it sounds like you went down the same path, right? Pretty
Oh yeah,
much.
no, 100%. Yeah, because it was easier to get a heroin from the street than have to go through someone who has a prescription or go get a prescription yourself. So it was easier and cheaper, to be honest with you.
Were you also chasing OxyContin, any other type of pain killers?
Well, the Oxycontin was the first one that got me into the heroin because
Oh, okay.
my stepdad had a back surgery, so he was receiving those from the VA, and I would sneak
So
in and
you had that.
I was taking those from him, and then I got. So yeah, those were a very, very strong part to get me into the heroin.
Well, we all know the whole background on OxyContin now, but
Oh yeah, I've seen the documentary about the Sacklers and everything. It was trust me,
yeah,
I've oh yeah,
I did
yeah,
too. Yeah,
oh yeah,
I went through the whole thing. It really,
oh yeah.
really pissed me off when I saw that, and I thought, how
No, when
sick.
I watched it too, and I was like, yeah, it was very disheartening to say the least.
Yeah. See, where you had access to your stepdad, Eric had access through a friend of his who worked at a drug
Okay.
store, so they would steal.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
the other thing that Eric did, he worked at a party store that sold liquor. So he would,
Okay.
get a fifth here or there because
Yeah.
he only gave
Okay.
every, and that's
Yeah.
what access to it. And
Right. Oh yeah.
I guess you think your kids are going to do smart things, but
Yeah,
I,
no,
you
we're
know,
not always so smart. Yeah,
no, it's
no, we're
not.
not always so smart.
Oh, so but it just progressed because you wanted to try different things, and you needed, well, once you cross that invisible line, which you
Yeah.
probably don't know when that line was, right? Just at one point in
No,
time.
actually, no, I do know it was actually my 25th birthday. It was a joke that I was going to treat myself to something a little stronger, and from there. That's the first time I ever tried heroin, and that was after that. That was it.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
you were just
yeah,
doing pills up until that point.
yeah. No, it was just the OxyContin, the Vicodins, and it was just the pills. It was still a problem. I would still get sick from the pills, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 25 is when the first time I tried heroin.
To heroin, do you think earlier when you were doing pills, you also needed them too? So you crossed that line earlier in life, but you
Oh
decided.
yeah, no, no. The line for as far as being like the physically addicted to it, needing it was earlier on. Oh yes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, so I know Eric made life difficult for us, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware of a book that I put out, but it tells our
No, okay.
yeah, tells our story. Your mom read it, so you could probably borrow her copy or go online
Okay.
yourself. Um, I write in the book. Someone asked me, goes, "Well, should I drug test my child?" And I said,
Hmm.
"You can try, but it will drive
Yeah.
you up a wall because they'll pull any trick in the book, and next
Oh
thing you
yeah.
know, you're just fighting because they'll bring in other urine. They'll say they can't
Oh
pee.
yeah.
I mean, they'll make it difficult for you, and you they will try and ratchet their behavior up in order for
Hmm.
you just to leave them alone. Does that kind of make
Oh
sense to you?"
no, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Well, we're very. One thing I've noticed about I mean, I can speak for myself personally. We're very good at manipulating a situation to get around it.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
and once, I mean, Eric, he'd been in and out of the house, in and out, kick him out. Well, he didn't follow the
Okay.
rules. He had to remove him.
Uh-huh.
And he'd come back in, and it was a struggle with me and my wife, his mother, that really made it difficult because if
Uh-huh.
parents are not on the same page, it makes it tough. Now, Al-Anon is something my wife and I went to that helped us tremendously take care of ourselves. So
Okay.
we knew what to do and how to handle the situation better. Uh,
Hmm.
and as parents, you finally get to the point where he's either going to get clean, he's either going to end up in jail, or he's going to die.
Uh-huh.
Those
Yeah.
those are like the three things. And I remember one of the guys, a good friend of his, older gentleman he was a chef with, um, had been sober for 30 plus years.
Oh
And
wow, that's great.
he says, I can't guarantee you if you put anything in front of me how I would react. And I thought
Hmm.
really amazing that that's how strong it is.
Oh yeah.
And the addiction counselor told me that although you're clean and sober, that disease is still in your system
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and you have to be really careful. Now, what have you done to try and stay away? And I mean, what do you think are the key factors to staying sober and so forth for you?
For me, my main part has been my faith. That's the main thing that's kept me uh as far away from it as possible. It's still there in the back of my mind. I'm aware of it. I don't try to put myself in situations that would cause it to come more forward in my mind. As far as just the little voices you hear, and it may sound crazy in your head. You're not good enough. You're gonna do this. Just the simple depression will start to creep in. And just you gotta find ways to. I don't want to say avoid it, but like accept it and work through it to not really focus on the bad thing all the time. Because I know it's there in the back of my mind 24/7. It's never gonna go away completely, but you have to find things to feed it to not come to the forefront.
And you have a good support system. Do you,
Oh yes, my between my mom, my wife, and then with me having a kid myself now, a daughter, I couldn't imagine just trading it for something else right now. It's just
now, do you attend meetings at all?
currently no, I do my church with my church groups. So as far as like a AA or NA, I'm not currently in. I
Have you
found it. I was that.
have you been in those groups in the past?
Oh yeah, in the very beginning when I first for this last time around, I was involved in the NA heavily because the treatment center I went to, they were involved in a lot heavily with the NA. So I did steady meetings probably 4 to 5 days a week for the first year and a half.
Okay. But you have your support group at church then, is what you work through.
Yes,
So there is
yes,
a some type of support system there for you.
yeah. So there's support and there's definitely an accountability there as well. So I mean, yeah,
Okay, great. Eric attended AA, and
okay.
he used to tell me the older guys know how to keep clean. So that's why I do
Yeah,
AA. Yeah, he was very quiet, and I always wonder if that was if he was more open about what he was going through. I don't think he
hmm
was one to share at the table a lot of what he was going through and that type of deal.
yeah. It can be intimidating. Yeah.
And I know at one point now there's a lot of anti um, um, drugs that help you stay away from using now. Okay, a lot
Okay.
of drugs that they give you. And the one thing I thought about AA that they kind of felt that was cheating, but I say if it's something that keeps you clean, and moving,
Okay.
I don't see an issue with it.
Okay.
Drinking and using heroin and so forth. I mean, I don't scientifically know the effect on the brain, but it sounds like doesn't matter what you're using. Once you cross that line,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I have my list of questions. I got to kind of take a peek
No,
at.
yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna take a sip of your coffee.
Sure thing. What was the point in time that you said, I need help and I need to quit? What kind of drove that?
To be honest with you, I didn't actively seek help.
No?
I was kind of on a path where I had decided that this is just my life right now, and if I go, I go. It got that bad. So the only main reason that I ended up getting help is because my mom found me in the bathroom. Pretty much.
That was at
I'm
neighbor's house, right?
say again.
Neighbor's house.
Yes, the neighbor's house. Yeah,
Lisa, your mom tells that story in our
yeah,
video. Yeah. And
yeah.
so that was the point in time that you,
That was
uh,
the point where I was like I'm still convinced that I to this day I don't understand why, but I truly believe that God had brought me back that day because I should have been gone. But it took me about a month or two after that had happened. I mean, I was clean. I went to treatment right away, but it took me about a month or two after that to actually, so maybe I need help for me to actually finally admit that I need help. But before that, I didn't seek it at all.
no intent. Yeah.
No,
And
no intent.
the thing, Eric, it seems like at points in time he said, I want to quit, but the struggle was so difficult for him.
Yeah,
Uh, and I'm sure it was for you too. I'm sure there's points
yeah,
in prior to that where you say, you know what, I just got to stop this shit. But then you
yeah,
go right down that path again.
yeah. No, there's times where I would say, this is enough. I gotta quit. Like I can't do this anymore. But I just with me, it was just I just had more psychological things going on that would get the better of me. So I was very, very highly depressive. So that was
Okay.
kind of my way of just kind of just giving up on life. So I know internally that it's time to quit. I need to stop, but I just didn't care.
I think the self-esteem gets so low. At least we know that was with
Yeah.
Eric. The
Yeah.
self-esteem gets so low that I can't conquer this,
Yes.
and you just go down that path. That you just go right
Yeah.
down, just because maybe it's a numbing of the pain that you
Yes. Yep.
struggle that you can't quit. For Eric, he was in Florida. We sent him down there for
Okay.
a rehab, and he stayed. I mean, sounds as crazy. We said we sent him there in case he doesn't make it. It's warm
Okay.
and
Yeah.
he won't freeze in the wintertime, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I mean, crazy how parents' minds work. But he um, he reached a point where he burned every bridge. He was
Hmm.
living in this beautiful home with this guy who was in recovery for 5+ years. There's other
Okay.
people there, and he was staying sober. But then he started to relapse. He started to hang with the wrong people.
Yeah.
He ended up stealing money from people who lived there. They asked him to
Okay.
move out. And when we went to see him in Florida, he was actually living on the beach. He had no place to go.
Okay.
So we made him a deal. We said, okay, you can come home. These are the rules. You have to see a lawyer,
Okay.
get your legal things going. You have to go through a recovery program. You have to get a job. And that was a point in time for him that he said, okay, I really want to give this a try. And he
Okay.
came home and he did great. He had went to school to be a chef. He was
Okay.
at a restaurant where he was the sous chef making 40, $50 meals. I mean, this was a
Right. Yeah.
high-end restaurant. Yeah, he was really doing good. But what comes with that comes a lot of stress too.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he asked to quit because the stress was getting to him. I says, "Yeah, you can quit, but you got to find another job and see you applying for jobs because
Hmm.
I know the triggers, and I know early on my wife and I were triggers for him. And who knows? I mean,
Okay.
parents don't realize the stress they can put on the kid. I mean, you
Yeah.
harp
Yeah.
on them to get clean, stop this and that, and all you're doing is adding to the stress, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
he had interviewed for a job. It was a corporate chef at private parties like people have on boats or
Oh,
restaurants.
okay.
Yeah, so he was
Okay.
going to be a private cook, and we didn't realize he had already started to drink and do some other things to work through the days at his other job. And he called an old friend for heroin, and it was laced with
Yeah.
fentanyl. So I remember a point in time when he was sober. He said, "I'm never going back to that." And I think
Do you,
I'm,
I,
I'm
I've said that plenty of times.
to
Oh yeah.
say that, but you have to be real careful, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And um, now you keep in touch with your mom. I know that,
Yes.
and she, is part of the reason you're in Florida is you don't want the environment in the Detroit area.
I mean that has a little bit to do with it, but the main reason I came down here because the treatment center I'd went to, it was very family oriented. Like the owner of the organization was
Treatment
like
center
very
was
in.
down there. It
No,
was
it
in.
was in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
was in Pennsylvania, but he has like different companies and he does this and that. So he goes to Pennsylvania and Florida back and forth. So he had actually brought me down here to work for him. So I ended up coming down here for work, and then I met my wife, and then I've been down here ever since. So I didn't come. I mean, it's helped that I've been in a different environment for sure. I don't have my old contacts and my old hangouts. That definitely, at the time, I didn't really see it that way. But not looking back now, it's definitely made a big difference in being a different change of scenery for sure.
I think it does because Eric came back here and he got in contact with a guy who used to supply him once he started
Yeah,
to get to that point. And
it's
he had
very easy to go back
the
to old
connection.
habits.
He
Yeah,
could now get his hands on one. For you, I'm sure you would know how to dig to do it, but then it makes it a little bit
yeah,
more challenging, I guess I should
Yeah, it
say.
definitely makes it more challenging. Yeah, for sure.
Um, and you have a daughter. How old
Yes,
is she?
she's 7.
They're pretty neat. And I know Lisa
Yeah, yeah,
about her a lot, and I see a lot of stuff on Facebook and all that.
yeah.
When you come back to Detroit, do you just kind of stay away from the old habits or the old areas?
When I come over, it's mostly just to see my mom.
Okay.
I don't even have contact with my friends, my old friends. The last time I saw my best friend was probably 2 years ago. Last time I visited, he came to my mom's house just to say hi. But other than that, I have no contact with any of my friends growing up.
You know,
So
when Eric was living down there, I used to talk to the guy he lived with who was in recovery for over 5 years. And I
okay,
before it says when you start recovery, you have to focus totally on that for like the first 2 years. Forget relationships,
yeah, oh yeah,
forget other things, and focus on recovery.
oh yeah, for sure.
Uh, I think a lot of people, and I write in my book, when your child starts recovery, don't send him back to school and tell him he needs to take 10 or 12 credits or
Yeah, no,
what could
it's
be
yeah,
because you are just pounding on so much stress on them. That can
yes,
be a trigger for them to go right back down that road.
yes. That first year is very, very crucial. Very crucial. I'm not saying it's gonna make or break you, but it's very crucial.
Um, what would you share as far as giving? I don't want to use the word advice or whatever, but I mean,
Yeah,
you've gone down this path. You've been clean for over 9 years, which is great.
yes,
But you also know how dangerous it is too, of how easily you can slip right back into it. Because
hmm,
when I went to
yes,
some
for sure.
when I went to some support groups, I heard stories of people 15, 20 years who were clean. And next thing they know, they're at a friend's house going into their medicine cabinet looking for pills. It's
Yeah.
just, or else the story of someone who thinks, well, I'll just have one beer with the friends, so
Okay. Yeah.
and then next thing you know, they're right back buying a fifth on the way home, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what 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 would you like to share that you think might help those who are suffering with it right now, in recovery right now, or even with us parents?
Okay. Um, I would say to anyone who's still struggling, I would say it's not your fault. It's not completely over. It's not everything you've done, I've done 10 times more and probably worse. I know everything can compile on you and get a lot going on and things rough, but you got to find something bigger than yourself. For me personally, it was God. It was Jesus for me personally. You got to understand that you are not the main character. You know, there are other people around you, and the world does not revolve around you 100%. And you cannot let every little thing get in your head and start snowballing into something bigger. You need to find something that's bigger than yourself, the anchor point. And once you can find that, you can move everything else goes from that. As soon as you take yourself out of it and you find something bigger than yourself, everything else just is kind of, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but it makes life a lot easier when you're just not the main character all the time, you know?
How about us parents?
That, I mean, that one, I mean, looking back now, I've seen what my mom had to went through. During the time, I had no idea. And now being a father myself, I couldn't imagine the horrors that I had put her through. I really can't imagine. The one thing that I would say to parents is as hard as it is to do, you can't harp on them 24/7.
And
I
that's
know
what
there's obviously the broken trust, but you got to find a middle ground to give them somewhat of a trust a little bit, because if you right off the bat question them all day long, they're gonna, well, they don't trust me anyway, so why should I bother?
Yeah.
I know it's hard to find that middle ground, but there's got to be. You can't just. You got to give them a break.
Yeah, and also, as I brought up before, educate yourself on what's going on.
Yes, that too. Yeah,
You
education for
so
sure.
you understand what people like you are going through. Not to say
Yes,
we're going to back off on setting rules and limits. If you want to live here, these are the rules, but they have to be what we call healthy rules, right? They
yes,
can't be
absolutely.
outrageous rules. But
Then I
and
would
there's
also say for the parents to find a support group for themselves as well too, because it helps
yeah,
with them too. Because then there's other parents they could talk to that are going through the same thing. You
you know,
know.
when we went to Al-Anon the first time, and people tell me, and we tell everybody, we are a basket case when we go in there, and we think they're going to tell us how to fix you, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah. But that's not
yeah,
what it's about. But then I remember one day this one guy came in and he was beside himself. He couldn't sit down. He stood, he paced, he yelled, he screamed. And I said, was I like that when I walked in the first time? And they said, yeah, pretty close to it.
yeah.
I mean, you have no idea what to do whatsoever. You're
Yeah, no,
lost.
yeah. And one
Yeah.
other thing I might add for people who are going through it as well, another thing that helped me a lot is to get out of my way and serve and help other people because it gets your mind off of yourself.
That makes
And
a lot
and
of sense.
for me, my new thing now is that I enjoy doing, and you could say I get high from is helping other people and see them progress and move along in life. That's what makes me feel better now. So again,
And
it's the, you know,
I gave a speak the other a few weeks ago for people who have lost a child. I've been asked to speak in various places, and
okay,
the one thing I tell them, find a way to bless somebody else
yes,
because
absolutely, yes.
because it will make you feel better.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Anthony, I just want to thank you so much for spending time here with me. I know this is going to help a lot of people out there.
I pray and hope that it does. And I'm sorry it took so long to get us together, but we got
All
together. So
got it
all in
together.
timing, right?
Um, Thanks again. Congrats on the 9+ years. Glad to hear
Thank you,
married with
Gary.
a child, and you take care of yourself and
I
handle
appreciate you
the
too.
warmer weather than what we get up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Gary. God bless you. Have a good one.
Hey, yep, you too. Bye now.
Okay, bye.